Good evening and welcome to the 2019 BUCS Netball Championship Final. Ready for the big BUCS Wednesday Championship Final, and we're in for a real treat this evening. Here at the University of Nottingham, you can see from that video there how good the facilities is here. In the background already you can see both the University of Hertfordshire reigning champions warming up against the University of Birmingham, ready to go live at 6 p.m. We are less than 10 minutes to go till the start of the game, and I'm joined tonight by international umpire Gary Burgess. And Gary, we are going to be in for a real cracker of a game. There's so much talent on this court this evening. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm looking down on the court here now, and it could well be two Super League teams getting ready to step out here.
Yeah, indeed. I think if you're going through the teams, I'm going to introduce you to those in just a moment. You've mentioned the Super League talent. I think we're across on about 3 different teams tonight. Wasps, Saracens, Mavericks and Surrey Storm. You might have to correct me if I've missed any on there, but a wealth of talent across the board in all different age groups as well.
Absolutely. I think it really kind of builds credibility for this league and BUCS in general that some of the best netballers in the country are certainly balancing their studies and their sport at the same time. Just brings depth to the league and builds that credibility, as I said.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to take you through the starting lineups now, just as they're finishing off their warm-up. So, starting with the University of Hertfordshire, in goal shooter, George Fisher. Goal attack, Chloe Essam. Wing attack, Beth Dix. Centre, Georgia Lees. Wing defence, Leah Goss. Goal defence, Tara Jones. And goalkeeper, Sam May. They're obviously coached by Mel Mansfield, head coach of Wasps at the moment, who had a couple of losses in the last couple of weeks, so this is going to be a tough one for Mel Mansfield. She'll be looking for her team to come out strongly. And of course, University of Hertfordshire are the reigning champions. They were victorious last year in the BUCS final. Moving on to the University of Birmingham, we've got Kat Short in goal shooter, Louise Marsden at goal attack, wing attack Ash Decker, centre Hannah Layton, wing defence Ellie Ratu, goal defence Fran Williams, and goalkeeper Maddie Munro Hall. And a bit of rivalry here as Danny Titmus takes the lead as the head coach for University of Birmingham. She of course is the Wasps current under-21 coach as well, so lots of representation. Going through those lists, Gary, anybody that particularly stands out for you?
Yeah, I think, George Fisher is very much, I don't even think we can call her an up-and-coming youngster anymore, can we? She's an experienced...
I don't think so.
She's an experienced goal shooter now, and certainly working her way into that Roses team, so she's always one to look for. I mean, I've got huge respect both as an umpire and as a netball spectator for Sam May. I do strongly believe that Sam May's got the best judgment of obstruction in the game worldwide. I think she looks to the feet before her arms go up, which is fantastic. looking over at the other side, this is adding to my age. I can actually remember when Ellie Ratu was born.
Oh God!
I've been friends with their parents for a long time from where I used to live in Bedfordshire, and they're both big PE teachers. I understand that Ellie's at uni studying to be a PE teacher as well, so she's in the setup as well, up and coming player. It bodes well to be a really good contest between the two sides.
Definitely. Well, I think you've highlighted George Fisher there and Sam May, both playing senior Super League, and George Fisher in that England full-time programme. Fran Williams as well, playing for the University of Birmingham. She's a WAS Super League senior player, and of course got her international debut just late last year, being called into the England squad against Uganda. So she'll be looking to lead that group as well.
Absolutely. I think when Fran came on for England in that Uganda match, it was almost an unknown, but she absolutely proved her worth in that game and took. I remember the first intercept she took was a good fly coming out of the circle, and which led to a turnover and a possession for England. So absolutely credible. I'd probably hold my hands up for missing her off the list if I'm honest. But yeah, absolutely.
But I think it just goes to show how much talent we are going to see on the court this evening, and how valuable these finals are for some of these players. So for a Fran Williams, who is still aiming to get that starting spot in a WAS Super League team, she gets an opportunity like this to lead this group and to shine.
Yeah, absolutely, and as we know, she's got a proven track record as a captain. She captained the under-21s in Botswana at the World Youth, and as you said, it's an experience for all of these players. If I flip back to my own personal kind of role from an umpiring point of view, this is good experience for those umpires that you might not often see on finals, to experience a big arena game with spectators, with the pressure that comes with a final as well. So everyone's cutting their teeth in this environment.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Like, we're at the University of Nottingham today in the David Ross Centre. It's a fantastic facility. There's been finals going on all day. You were around earlier to see the trophy final, which was played between the University of Birmingham's second team and University of Nottingham. Nottingham came out on top, but it was so noisy in here. They'd all brought a fan base. We're seeing the stands slowly filling up for this game as well. And it's that kind of pressure that you only get in a final. Yeah,
absolutely. I kind of reminisced a little bit back to my own university days when we played in the hockey finals at the old Milton Keynes Stadium, and you do wheel out all of your spectators, and I always remember fondly the chants and songs that come from the university. I sat in the crowd with some Birmingham fans getting probably harassed is the best way to explain it, but no, it was great, and it was good example of university sport at its best.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because actually I was at uni about 18 years ago as well, and my last BUCS experience was in a grand final against the University of Birmingham, their last appearance, which was in 2004, and they went on to win that. I was playing for Bath at the time, but it was always a very hostile crowd there.
Hey Tamsin, I'm not being funny, but you must have been 10 when you went to university as well as me as well.
So as the teams now, they've just all bibbed up. Ash Decker giving her team a little pep talk before they walk out for the University of Birmingham. They've got the cheer. Still the University of Hertfordshire staying in their huddle. Talks coming in there from George Fisher and from their captain Beth Dix. There'll be a few nerves out there now. So as we're looking now, the teams are going to get called out onto court. Umpires this evening, Kate Mann and Julie Wilkes.
Yeah, both Super League umpires. As I say, they're new into the Super League. Kate last season, Julie this season. So again, valuable experience for them. And Teresa, who's sat on the chair, she's the new umpire into the A Award. So it gives her experience of what you need to be as a reserve umpire. There are actually 3 umpires in a netball match. The two on-court umpires, and then the reserve umpire, who that will go on if the one of the umpires is injured, and she actually tends to their hydration and welfare in intervals.
And as you say, just an experience and great for this final, the big Wednesday BUCS final, to have that quality level of umpire, because it is going to be a tight game. We know it's probably going to be a physical game. All these players are elite athletes. Most of them are in a full-time programme, and they will be challenging each other tonight.
No, absolutely. And I think the secret to good umpiring is allowing the players to contest and push those boundaries, trying to make the game the spectacle it deserves to be by playing good advantage. But ultimately, players need to take responsibility for what the umpires are saying, because that's the rules. What the rules say, the umpires umpire within the rules, and the players need to adhere to that.
So it looks like we had a little bit of confusion. George Fisher and Beth Dix having a bit of a giggle there. I think they went out the wrong end. As the umpires look to bring the ball out onto court. We've still got the last few. University of Birmingham. There's Fran Williams running onto the court, and Maddie Munro Hall, also part of the WASPs under-21s and under-19 squad. She's going to have a tough gig tonight against George Fisher, but what an opportunity for her.
Absolutely.
So here we go, Georgia Lees with the ball. She's going to kick us off, get this underway. University of Hertfordshire to start the game. And it's a quick ball out to Beth Dix. And 1-2-3 into George Fisher. There's that famous shuffle shot. And a great start for the University of Hertfordshire. Cool, calm and controlled. Oh, Tara Jones already into the action. She gets the contact call as well. Good call, Gary?
Absolutely, yeah. I think, as you said, this game's going to be very closely contested, and that was absolutely a great call by the umpire.
And there's Ali Ratu at the other end. We've already seen the contest happen, so players are able to come through and have a challenge on that ball.
Absolutely, and when we're talking about contests, we're talking about two players that are competing against each other, but the action is balanced so that neither one is infringed, or so there's not contact to occur.
There you go, Birmingham on the score sheet. It's 1-1, tit for tat at the moment. Both teams looking to keep control and set the pace of this game. Oh, what a feed into George Fisher there.
Absolutely, lovely long ball in.
And it's those partnerships that will make a difference this evening. So that Beth Dix, I was speaking to her before the game, that long bomb into the goal shooter, into George Fisher, and just the trust to do that. Down the other end, we've got a real mismatch in height with Kat Shaw under the post against Sam May. But you see there, Ash Decker not happy to let that go, and it's just the presence of Sam May who is going to challenge on everything.
Absolutely, you talk about those partnerships. Wasn't it a university where you first partnered with Rachel Dunn, is that right? Or was it before
indeed.
that? Yeah.
It was indeed, yeah. Uni, it started a 15-year, well, probably longer than that, nearly a 20-year partnership. So
yeah.
It does matter.
And you didn't do too badly off it, to be honest with you.
Although never won a BUCS final, Gary.
Oh, there you go. You can't win them all, though, my friend. You can't win them all.
So there you go. University of Hearts taking the lead, 3-2 up at the moment. Both teams just looking to settle, playing the ball around. Impressed with how patient they're being. But that's a mistake by Hannah Layton at the top. She just looked over to the umpire there, but it was a clean drop. And University of Hearts on there, but there's Fran Williams with the intercept.
Yeah, fantastic intercept there. I think the tip that Julie Wilkes let go there was a really good hand in there.
And there's the ball into Kat Short. Sam May very close to getting her hands on that, but just that mismatch. But there's the rebound and gets the penalty against Kat Short. Kat's going to want to look at those and make sure she can. I'm just going to reset that penalty there. Sam May wasn't sure whether she was going to call taken. But yeah, for Kat Short just to settle that Birmingham team, because when they do get that ball into her, she needs to punish just the Hearts
just
defence.
a few late challenges coming in there that the umpires might need to just be aware of. I just think the timing needs to be addressed a little bit. But I mean, well, we're 3-4 minutes into the match now. I think that both teams have shown the umpires what they're to expect. So I think umpires have introduced themselves well to the game. So we're on for a good battle this match.
Definitely. Well, I think you can see from the pace and the challenge in there. Bettick's looking for that long bomb to Fisher, but Munro Hall already being a nuisance there in that circle. Again, quite happy to challenge on Fisher. Like we said earlier, this is a real experience for her, a real test playing against an England international. But it's passages of play like that Birmingham really need to reward. You know, no one on Hannah Layton as that ball came through the court. Nice footwork from Beth Dix there to step around, and it's been pulled back for an obstruction. That allows that give and go to the circle. Straight into Chloe Essen for her first shot of the game. Note she offloads it.
It's a quick obstruction call called there by Kate Mann.
Would you like that to see play out more? Let them take
advantage? I absolutely. I mean, we, as well, you know, I also double up as the head of umpiring, or the head of officiating for England Netball, and one of the things that we try and tell the umpires is to make a advantage of first option, because it often, if, as well you know as a player, the umpire could actually disrupt the flow of play by penalising something that's absolutely the right call, but it then just disrupts the play and the feed into the circle. Then everyone resets and the circle kind of closes down to what it could have been if a good advantage was played in. But the umpires are doing good. They're doing good right now.
There's a bit of a late challenge from Ash Decker there. Leah Goss feeling that on the head. And And again, University of Birmingham, another ball turned over, a sloppy replay from the top of their circle. But held ball here from the University of Hertfordshire. Georgia Lee's not impressed with the lack of options she had out there. And both teams just sort of finding their feet at the moment. No one really taking control of this game yet. Typical start to a grand final, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Nervous start. And I explained netball to a non-experienced person before, and it's more. I said to them, it's more like a game of chess than it is like a game of football, and this will come down to strategy, fine movements, and you know.
Is indeed, and I don't think a grand final's ever won in the first quarter. I might have to eat my words at some point, but usually the nerves come into it. It takes a while for teams to settle, to work each other out, and then then it's down to the coaches to tactically change things. But that was better play from the University of Hearts. They'd thrown a couple of balls away, so they drove that ball to the edge of the circle.
So it's an interesting move from George Fisher there. She deliberately shortened her distance to get close to the post, but the way to umpire that, you actually don't look at the obstruction on the floor. There's a turnover in the centre circle there, but you don't look at the distance on the floor. Once they've stepped in, the player, the shooting player, the attacking players legitimately shorten their distance. So the umpire has to look to the defender to ensure that they don't contact, because they can actually defend from within inside the normal distance.
And I think Fran Williams was just sort of making that point. She just asked the question, and that's that great dialogue between players and umpires.
Absolutely, and it's something that we're here to make sure the game looks great and it's a spectacle. We work with the players. We absolutely don't work against them and don't use the rules to catch them out.
So better use there. Sam May on the hunt now. I was going to say better use of the turnover from University of Birmingham. Cap missing, Cap short missing under the post, dropping the rebound, and that's frustrating for Birmingham. They're doing all the hard work, but it's just that rewarding underneath the post.
Absolutely. I mean, it seemed to go in so easy, and it's such a shame that it didn't convert.
So University of Hertfordshire on the attack, and there's that long bomb from Beth Dixon to George Fisher. I think we're going to see a lot of that as the game goes on. Fisher down the other end rewards her team, and it's 5-3 to Hertfordshire. Better play from Hertfordshire there as they work that ball to the edge again. Georgia Lee's having an impressive season so far in Super League. Playing for Saracen Mavericks, getting lots of court time, both wing attack and centre. Real experience in this Hertfordshire side.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it absolutely is the court time she's getting with Mavericks that I think has meant that she's remained sharp for the whole season. I mean, it must be, one of the hardest things to be on the bench and on the court. But once you're consistently starting, you kind of get a roll on, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's nice for them to play this game, to really shine. We're saying that about Fran Williams, but Georgia Lees doesn't have to play in this university side. She's doing her masters at the University of Hertfordshire. She's already done her 3 years at Brunel University. She's been in that Surrey Storm squad and then moved to Saracen Mavericks. But the very fact that they want to play in these games just shows how tight that university group is and how much fun you can have on a Wednesday afternoon.
No, absolutely, and I think for any sports person that went to university, Wednesday afternoons were probably the highlight of the week. I'm not sure that Thursday morning lectures were though.
No, not indeed. So University of Birmingham on the attack. They've been very patient around this third line, but giving University of Hertfordshire opportunity, and that was a great inset from Chloe Essam, defending right up to the line. And that's one of the dangers of having a holding shooter. We've just seen George Fisher exit the circle there, giving opportunity for a centre court to hit the circle. With Kat Short down at the other end for Birmingham, it just means she stays in the circle, which means the centre court have to do a lot of work, and there's a big ask on players like Louise Marsden to get that ball into the circle for them. And there's a better feed, take by Kat Short. And that's what they're going to have to look to do more of, Birmingham. They're only trailing by 2, it's 7-5 to Hearts, their centre. And Georgia Lee's under pressure again into that corner.
Yeah.
Footwork call there.
Called out for footwork just on the hop on the landing foot. She did well to not drag it, but unfortunately just on the feed into the circle, just hopped on that foot. Well picked up by Kate Mann there.
I think again just that lack of option for Georgia Lees there. She wanted to give something, the players moved out of it. And there's Louise Marsden with the smart shuffle shot and offload to Kat Short. That's what Birmingham want to do more of. Keep Sam May out of the game. Make sure she can't come on any intercepts or flies. see Sam May hunting
I would
again.
say, oh, you beat me to it. She absolutely is so stealthy there, isn't she?
There
Here
she
comes
is.
now.
And you know what, Gary, that was really interesting because she wasn't actually going to get that ball, but just the pure fear she put into Hannah Layton of coming out.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I think formidable character, but I mean, absolutely delightful off the court as well.
Yeah, top player. An Australian, so has come over from Australia for quite a few years now. Started playing at Saracen Mavericks, joined Wasps a couple of seasons ago. Enjoyed those 2 back-to-back titles and playing at goalkeeper as well, which is, you know, her starting position as a kid. She played a lot of time at wing defence, but she's so powerful in there. She's just such a smart, intelligent player.
Yeah, I mean, I hinted this at the beginning. I mean, she's just so aware of landing foots of attacking players. She knows where they are. Long ball into George, but just a little knock there, and Kate Mann picks it up for contact. But yeah, she's very aware of the landing foot, which means that she doesn't very rarely give away too many obstruction penalties. And if you give away those penalties in the circle, you're just gifting the opportunities for a shooter to shoot.
It's that roll round the front from Louise Marsden. It's holding time for the umpire there. She's going to talk to Tara Jones. Warning?
Well, no, I'm
to?
not sure. I mean, there was.
It's better when you're mic'd up.
No,
You can hear what
absolutely,
you're
yeah,
saying.
absolutely, yeah. I think possibly a caution for persistent contact. Normally, if you see a warning, there's 2 arms crossed above the umpire's head. I think really the way in which the game's been played, it might have been a bit too early for a warning, but
Just making a stand, making a
yeah,
point.
absolutely. I think
them
might
to
well have
tidy
been a
up.
caution in there, but certainly Julie Wilkes wasn't happy with that contact on the roll around. I think the goal defence took her on a journey a little bit.
There's a long feed in there from Hannah Layton. Cat short unable to hold on to it. And just the difference down the ends of the experience of George Fisher. She's been given long bombs already, a lot from Beth Dix, Chloe Essam on the ball. There's Georgia Lees with that cut and drive and a beautiful feed over to Fisher. Does well to keep that in.
She did well, and I've worked actually in the England setup with George. Her feet just stick to the ground now, but when she was a youngster playing at Turnford, she did have a tendency to gain distance, which means she kind of pivoted through 2 different parts of her feet, and it's something I had a good old chat with her dad about at certain times throughout, but she's absolutely nailed her footwork now.
But it's such an important part of the game for a shooter to get as close to the post as possible. And there's University of Birmingham giving an offside on the centre pass, so it's a bit of a tricky period for them at the moment. Hearts have got a 3-goal lead. They want to get back on defence here and put Hertfordshire under pressure. Oh, Fisher onto the post. Maddie Monroe not happy with that. She felt she'd gone for that cleanly. But you know, Georgia Lees, Beth Dix are getting far more confident letting that ball go into George Fisher, and it will be a long game for Monroe Hall if those balls keep landing. Right to challenge on them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the umpires will tell you if it's gone across the line. But looking at both the players in there, they're both tough cookies, you know. So it's going to be, again, a great contest there. No one possessed the ball, and Fran Williams came from the back space and just tipped forward.
And that's why it is right to contest on the
absolutely
by
is,
doing
yeah.
that, by Monroe Hall running her feet through that, she allowed Fran Williams to come through and both have a challenge on Fisher, and it was really smart play. But the problem with that is sometimes you're going to get the timing wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, if you do it, you know, sometimes it goes wrong and you have to take the consequences. But if you're cautioned for it, you're only cautioned for that action. The umpires aren't going to come hunting after you. They don't want you to change everything. It's just that part of your game.
So Birmingham back on the ball, back to that 3-goal lead. Using the width of the court quite nicely now, but Sam May not able to hold that in, went on the challenge. Just need to put a little bit more height on that ball to catch short. She is probably what? A good,
looks like
well,
it's 6 inches from here, I reckon, yeah.
We're very high up in the gantry looking over at the court this evening. Oh, and you hear the timing there from Sam May. She shouted the up. Tara Jones backed her up on the rebound, a bit frustrated with that call, but she was right to go for it.
And I think her distance was fine. I think Julie Wilkes just thought at the last minute Sam May just contacted her on the arm. So it's great to see her actually, you know, she doesn't count out loud because you're at risk of getting called for intimidation. by counting 1, 2, 3 on that. But she's aware intrinsically that the time's clicking down, and she knows when that shooter's going to release the ball, and she's always up.
So Birmingham on the attack, another loose pass from Hertfordshire. They were trying to play it long into the corner, just too far for Beth Dix. Birmingham moving the ball through nicely, but
just
same down the other end. Louise Marsden, hands on her head.
Can't pull it in.
And another frustration as we're counting down now, 30 seconds on the clock. Hart's coming down on the attack, but Ash Decker with a steal. And there's the ball from Ellie Ratu.
Slotted straight through the middle.
12-11, 1 goal behind. Clock ticking down, 20 seconds, loads of time on the clock.
Absolutely.
Deliberate obstruction there.
Yeah,
Gary.
I think that's textbook application from the umpire. Deliberate delay of play. She'd advanced it forward.
An opportunity for Louise Marsden to go in level at the quarter. Can't nail it. Sam May on the rebound. Still plenty of time. Julie Wilkes has held time there.
Yeah, just a foot on the line there, it looks like.
And there's the end of the first quarter. Great start from both teams. University of Hertfordshire taking an early lead, but University of Birmingham clawing that back, so it's 12-11 at the break. And some impressive stuff so far.
Absolutely. I think we're going to be looking at a scoreline like this for a majority of this game if the first quarter is anything to go by.
Yeah. Just looking at the players, and we talked about the talent, and many of these players are showcased in the Super League. How good has the Super League been so far this season?
I mean, it's unprecedented. I mean, I know people get into a situation where they're saying that the Roses are all going over to the Suncorp Super Netball League, but I think this year, and potentially for the last couple of years, I think Super League is absolutely credible as the best showcase of netball in this country, and I don't think there's much gap between it, and certainly now, very much like what we could be experiencing at the World Cup, any one of those top 4 teams could win that Championship Super League this year. So, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. From my point of view as the head of officiating, I'm really pleased with the consistency that's been built in this squad. Every year we look at the group average of the umpires coming in, and every year we move down a couple of points. So, I mean, it's a breeding ground for our youth to come through and fill the gaps that left by the senior Roses, and it's just great.
Yeah, I think I was being asked a question the other day about sort of the difference. Have I seen an impact of the Super League this year? And I think, look, we can't go past England winning Commonwealth gold last year in Australia. But I think behind the scenes, the Super League has been growing, and it's credit to players like Serena Guthrie, Amal Bwazy, actually deciding they wanted to come back home and play in our league. And I actually think the level across the board has upped in terms of other teams and their fitness and their training ethic, and also how we've imported into teams and players have spread across the teams this year. Would you say that's fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a fine balance between bringing players in on imports, but I think absolutely this professionalisation of the game, and I say professionalisation, just reminder to everybody that we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of pounds like rugby players and football players we get. The girls are providing the most professional service that they possibly can, often with limited income as a result, but they still produce what they're producing, and that's massively admirable. If that's not a big enough attraction to sponsors into this sport, I don't know what is. I absolutely don't know what is.
And I think we're seeing that across the board. Vitality pumping more money in, and of course the recent announcement of Barclaycard putting into the Women's Football Super League as well, which is a great case study for all female sports really, and you'd hope that off the back of that there'd be more investment into the Super League as a whole rather than across the whole of England netball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, the role modelling that goes along with this is absolutely fantastic. And I know we're talking about Super League and how good it is. So there's so many youngsters that are inspired to then actually take this forward, and it could well become a career for them in the future. Now, I started this business about 15 years ago at the elite level, but very much around the same time that you were in it, and it wasn't really an option back then, but it's absolutely fantastic now that that's an option, and that these girls could actually make a full-time wage out of it.
And I think that's what's really important when we look at this. There's 6 players on this court tonight across both teams that are playing in the full squads of Super League, and the rest are all involved in an age group at some level, whether that's under 19s and under 21. So it does all start here at university, but it's just showing that they've got a pathway now.
Yeah, absolutely, and as you mentioned, within those pathways, the junior roses coming through, the under 17s, 19s, 21s, it absolutely is the fact that they're able to perform in that environment in the NPL league that means that they're ready for Super League when it comes up.
Definitely. Right, well, we take back to the court coming up for the second quarter. I'm just having a look down on the court now. Couple of changes. So Beth Dale has come into the middle, come into centre. Beth Dix has gone to the bench for Hertfordshire, and I think that is the only change I can see down there. We are a long way up, so you will have to bear with us, but yeah, it's pretty much the change. Not really surprised from the University of Hearts. They've got a really strong bench. They know they can impact players on and off to the court. Beth Dale, obviously in the 15 at Saracen Mavericks, so loads of experience there. And Georgia Lee's moving into wing attack, which is probably her preferred position. Umpire's just waiting for the court tape to be down. I can just see it in this bottom corner here, just making sure the runoff is completely safe for the players. And we're underway. Quarter two. Georgia Lee straight on that ball at wing attack, taking the contact. And Birmingham putting them all kinds of pressure, having to bring George Fisher right out the circle. I'm guessing they're going to look to get it closer, and that's much better interchange between Essam and Fisher under the post. That all started from Fisher not just hanging out under the post and getting a long bomb, but coming out. I'm guessing Mel Mansfield has asked her to do that. Nice little cut through there from Ash Decker and Truss from Louise Mars, and there's the roll around the front. And the mismatch, Chara Jones, unfortunate there. She did a great roll, but it's just the height difference for her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we as umpires, we always work on two hands, one hand. We always know about front space, back space as well. And I just think the big goal shooter was able to, with her height, just reach over and take two hands on that ball.
And that passage of play from Hertfordshire says to me why they put Georgia Lees to wing attack there, just coming up, offloading the ball quickly to Accrued Dale. And when you do have a bench, it's good to be able to change things when things haven't quite gone your way. I'm sure we'll see Beth Dix back entering the game at some point. She's been such a quality player for Hearts, and just a miscommunication there from Accrued Dale and from Georgia Lees.
Yeah, untouched centre pass there, so it had to be set in the goal third and effectively comes as a turnover.
So shuffle shot here from Louise Marsden, nice change of angle. Shorter goal attacks under all kinds of pressure in there from the lean from May and Jones, but puts the shot away.
Yeah, just a little nudge there on receipt meant the ball wasn't received. Good pick up by Kate Mann there.
There's that ball over to Kat Short again. Not happy with putting that ball up. Oh, and Sam May coming through. Nice move by Jones to come around.
And I guess
read it.
You only need a couple of those to put doubt in the shooter's mind, don't you? It's an interesting approach by the defence there.
Yeah, down the other end, George Fisher just saying to Chloe Essam where she wanted that ball. Maddie Monroe-Hall's done a great job on Fisher so far. She's really confused the space. Fisher is such an exceptional shooter. We were chatting lots about her before the start of the game. But she still needs the delivery. She still needs the guys to recognise the space. And actually, sometimes it's harder to play against a moving sort of defender who's not giving you a hold, who you don't know where she's going to come from.
Well,
and vision from
and things like that happen.
End.
You lose your defence, and the window opens, and the ball can just slot through.
Absolutely,
yeah, absolutely.
And it's only the players with vision that can do that. And that was a great ball from Marsden. Georgia Lee's up the other end.
So George Fisher's coming out of the circle a lot to try and make play, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely more from what we saw in that first quarter.
Absolutely.
I think the problem with the long ball is when it lands, it was perfect, but there was still a lot of challenge. And actually, you don't want Fisher to be taking a hit for the next 60 minutes. It's not, you know, you want her to feel calm and controlled under the post and just go about her shooting. So actually, sometimes that release really helps.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's by virtue of my position, I'll keep talking about umpiring, but the umpires are aware of that potential wear down and that effect that it has on players. So they don't just play advantage on everything every time, because there is that fatigue that can come in.
Birmingham being made to go backwards. Good offload from Leighton. And once they're on that edge, that ball into catch short can go. It's just making them have to work hard to get to that edge. The defensive pressure of Leah Goss, Tara Jones and a Crew Dale out the front, making it difficult. Almost the same down this end as well. Williams and Ratu, Leighton working tirelessly to make this Hertfordshire attack really work. And what a take from Fran Williams. She read that so well around the back of Fisher. Fisher swinging her arms, frustrated. So can Birmingham make Hertfordshire pay for that? Playing the ball around, long ball into short. Sam May.
She's just up again. Absolutely fantastic to be able to get up there.
It's the elevation to go straight up.
Absolutely,
really
but go up without contacting as well.
Well, a lot of defenders haven't got that power, so they often go back into the player.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, that's what we're looking for as umpires, to see who's balanced against who, who's pushed who first.
And Williams and Ratu very calm on the ball, but the Birmingham attack are going to have to keep working. Once they get that release, they're able to feed the ball into short. She nails that one for Birmingham to go ahead. First time they've gone ahead in this game. Fran Williams just acknowledging the call from the umpire.
And both out there, just an obstruction.
Yeah, George Fisher smart, blocking off both players. And it's back level pegging to Birmingham centre.
Ball's just gone a bit wayward.
No one wants to get it.
16 all. Perhaps they need a breather.
I should hope not. We've got room for a long night.
A long way to go, yeah.
Ash Decker taking the hit there off Tara Jones. Fran Williams dictating where she wanted Louise Marsden to go there. And a good offload by Marsden to short under the post. Their connection's getting better as this game goes along.
Yeah,
it's almost just filling with confidence.
Yeah, they're absolutely. The confidence is building there, and they're kind of now knowing almost telepathically where each other are. I guess that might well be a bit of a difficulty, because, I mean, really, you perhaps don't train as much with this team that you would do with your Super League franchise and have those combinations. So whereby it might be more, you know, more telepathic, so to speak, or you've got that awareness more with your Super League partners. You might not have that as much in this format. I'm not saying they don't train hard, but they probably don't train together as much as they would do in their franchise.
Is limited depending on that. If you look at how both teams made this final, University of Birmingham played Team Bath. A lot of their Super League players. There's a help ball there from Marsden.
So that's an interesting thing there. There's nothing in the rules to stop you from holding onto the dress of another player, as long as you're not either contacting or obstructing within there. So that was a great move on defence there, and they were timed out for 3 seconds. So often umpires get drawn into the fact there must be something wrong, but there absolutely isn't there. If it's not in the rule book, you can do it.
A little tussle there from Fran Williams. So yeah, what we're saying about those Super League players, that you know, Mel Mansfield has a real tough job in terms of managing the Mavericks, Storm and the Wasps relationships, how many players are allowed to play. So Birmingham beat Team Bath to get into this final, University of Bath. Several of their players weren't available because of the Super League fixtures as well, so we have to take that into consideration. But, you know, likewise, they're all getting this opportunity through the year. So Hertfordshire played a real tough man-met University, which a lot of those players are in the Manchester Thunder setup as well. So not only are you balancing what they're doing at Super League, but you're also balancing different coaches. You know, I know Mel Mansfield has to chat a lot with Kat Ratnapala and obviously Mickey Austin, and just manage those relationships and make sure they're doing what you want them to do, but also performing at Super League.
Yeah, and I think if we look to the American college system for like American football, these squads would be the big squads that you see in that competition, and that's not the same. You know, these girls, whilst there are Super League players in here, this Hertfordshire University team are not the same as the Mavericks team. So it kind of makes you think, is that where this goes? Does it sit just still in the franchises? Is there more the universities can do? We see a lot of teams pairing up now with rugby franchises, like Wasps and Saracens Mavericks now. Where do you think the sport's going in respect to that?
I think the universities have a big role to play. If you look at majority of the England side at the moment, they all came, a lot of them came through the university system. Serena Guthrie at Bath, Ebony Uso Brown at Bristol, you know, Joe Hart and Jay Clark Loughborough. So that plays a massive part, because at 18 to 21 category they get to train full time, miss there from catch short, but they get to train full time and get to train and bring on other youngsters as well.
Absolutely.
Which I think is really important, and it's actually that bridges the gap, doesn't it? That age group we want, those 21s playing in a regular competition and having battles like this that we're seeing out on court. And it is a battle. Hart's about to work hard to regain this lead, and George Fisher with the long bomb coming onto the ball now, being really definite in that circle, just showing her class. And they've got that 3-goal lead. It's again an opportunity for Birmingham. They need to stay in at this point here. They've really challenged Hearts tonight. They've got to keep mixing up what they're doing.
There we go with that university chant that I was talking about before. Gives you goosebumps. I think we can all fit in our and the opposition responds. We could all fit in our own universities into that tune, I'm sure.
Yeah, and an important time as well for Birmingham that they get that backing. 21-17, Hertfordshire lead at the moment. It's a big goal from Marsden. She nails it. Does a little clap. High five with Cat Short. She's happy with that one. Ratu coming through onto the ball, gives Hertfordshire an opportunity to settle. You see Georgia Lee screening off there, and it's just that experience, that smartness, playing at the top level.
Oh, that's a fantastic, just foot must have just gone over the line. Kate Mann's in a better position than we are up here, but I thought she just got it in there.
And just in saying that miscommunication between Ratu and Ash Decker. Wasn't ready for that ball. Louise Marsden goes on the challenge. But it's the sloppy errors I think we're starting to creep in from Birmingham. You know, the missed shots on penalties. Another turnover, another opportunity for them to take this down the court. This is where they've been patient on that third line. Decker does so well to keep it in. Who wants the ball?
Yeah, and just she didn't get wholly back on court before she touched the ball, so Julie Wilkes awarded a throw in there. It does feel a bit scrappy at the moment, doesn't it?
It does. I think there's just that danger period for Birmingham that they don't want this lead to creep out, but at the moment they're putting so much pressure on this Hertfordshire attacking lineup. They're not having their own way at all. Georgia Lee's another tussle, and it's almost like they're just so fearless. Fran Williams coming around the back of George Fisher. They've just not been afraid to have a go, and they've done that right from the beginning. Yeah,
absolutely. I do feel that there's a lot more umpiring than playing that's going on. That's not to the detriment of the umpires, but I think that they might start to take control a little bit more here, just to bring the players back in to purify their play. Great interception there.
And well kept in from Hannah Layton. Birmingham get the opportunity to attack, and this is the area they've been struggling with, just on that third line.
Oh,
it's
there
a
we
flat
go.
ball in, and Sam May read that so well. That's not the kind of ball that they're going to get into Cat Short. It has to be lifted.
That never gets boring, doesn't it, seeing someone come in with a reverse hand like that?
When it's so clean as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can hear Mel Mansfield asking them to give the short ball. She knows they've got to work it in, give nothing in the air, nothing for Fran Williams and Monroe Hall to have a go at. Fran Williams pulled out. She went for the smother on the edge of the circle. So Hearts get a 5-goal lead, the biggest lead of the game so far. But they are having to work really hard to get this ball in the circle. And there's Fisher with the pop. Couldn't hold it, but Essam tidies it up. I think that just goes to show they just haven't had it all their own way. They have been challenged on everything this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. You just kind of feel that's a great turnover from Birmingham. I was just about to say, you just kind of feel that something's going to actually happen here, but Birmingham can't let this get any further than this. Just give themselves too much work to do in the third quarter.
And look, when they get the drive down the court like that, pretty unstoppable. But it has been that final ball, all down to work with Sam May and Tara Jones in there.
She's just absolutely always aware, Sam May, of where her attacking player is.
Tip on the ball from Tara Jones on Louise Marsden's shot. The difficulties of being a shorter goal attack, but when you've got the likes of Cat Short in there, it has a go, and Birmingham brought it back to within 4 with their centre pass. Georgia Lee is looking to the sky.
A big breath out there. Nothing the umpire can help you with there, George.
Better from Louise, waiting for the...
So she gets the second bite of the cherry, and it's in.
And just has a little flick, Maria Falau style, up to the sky, just making sure she's got a follow through. And it is hard when you're a shorter shooter, because you are constantly have to dealing with people jumping it, people leaning all over, you have to step back, fake.
Here we go, and there's a caution there. It looks like it was either for intentional obstruction or persistent contact. But as I said before, it did feel like the umpires were doing more whistle than letting them play, and it's just Julie Wilkes to put in a caution there to bring the, it looks like Ellie Ratu on the circle edge back into the match.
We've got 30 seconds left on the clock. Birmingham in possession. They're going to want to go into this half. But unfortunately, Ash Decker with an offside on the top of the circle there. So Hertfordshire have the chance to go in 5 up if they can work this to goal. Plenty of time on the clock. Beth has a look at it. Offloads to Essam. Less than 10 down. Essam nails it.
We'll probably see some sort of delaying tactics here. Yep, just missed the ball. Nobody wants to touch the hot potato, just so that they make sure that they get the centre pass back.
Suddenly they don't run in, Gary.
No, absolutely. I think it's interesting because the ball always comes back nice and easy until we get down to the last 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden these really skillful athletes can't catch.
I know a few players that have that trick up their sleeve. So it's 25-20. University of Hertfordshire in the lead at the moment, but they haven't had it all way. Birmingham have challenged them. There's only those last few minutes that they got the lead on there, and it's been an interesting first half. Then we're going to take a break and have a look at some of the England netball and sponsors videos.
Means that she went up for a fly, as we talked about in this programme, and just misjudged her timing. Didn't mean to contact the player, but the umpires are left with no option but to give a warning. Then later on in the game, Kate Stevenson, I believe it was, then had to in effect give another caution for persistent contact, but you can't give another foul play, so it has to follow on. So they call it the game management ladder for a reason, and that's why unfortunately the goalkeeper was suspended.
I think it brings a bit of excitement to the game, and actually more talking points, and actually the players are well aware of it. We've got a very clear system now of warnings, cautions. You know when you're crossing the line, and if you choose to carry on with that and you don't rein it in, well, that's something the players have to learn the hard way, and the coaches to a certain extent.
And we had a new game management manual come out in January this year, and one of the opening lines in it was about players taking responsibility for their behaviour. And absolutely, the umpire's there to point it out, and it's the choice that the player makes. They either adapt their play within the confines of what the umpires are suggesting, or they don't. And if they don't, there's a whole ladder of game management actions that the umpires have to apply.
Yeah. So here you go, Gary. I'm going to go with it. We've probably had the closest Super League we've ever seen so far. We've got 5 teams separated by just 3 points, and it's going to go down to the wire. Are you going to be brave enough and tell me who your top 4 is? Because I went with the top 4 at the start of the year, and they're still in the mix. But are you going to be one of the brave ones?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely. I say it'll be the 4 best teams. I can't say that. You know I can't say that. You're a wind-up merchant. Absolutely no. I mean, I think that the great thing is to see is that there's so much depth in all of those squads. I mean, you know, to see people like Kerry Ullman still playing. I mean, I'm not saying at her age, but she isn't an 18-year-old anymore, but she's still taking good ball for Thunder. You've got the experience of Ebony Asora Brown in Bath. You've got that injection of pace in the midcourt from Serena. Then you go over to Mavericks. There's, you know, players throughout that squad that have been knocking around for a long time and chipping away. But then you've got the new people coming in from their under 21 setups. I absolutely think, you know, it's great. Wasps, I mean, there's no question in Wasps. They're you know, defending championships. Defending champions, they've got a good setup there as well. I mean, it could be anyone's, Tams. It absolutely could be anyone's.
I think that's the whole point. I don't think there's any team for me that's really stamped their authority yet on the league, and we've seen that with results. And actually, even though we've got a split between the top 5 teams and the bottom 5 teams, they're still running teams close. We've got the likes of Seven Stars, Surrey Storm, Celtic Dragons, Sirens.
Hey, listen, we forgot Loughborough.
pushing.
I've just looked into the crowd and into the crowd here in this arena, and just spotted Nat Panagari and Ella Clark at the back rows, Kat Ratnapala at the front row with Gabby Marshall. I mean, the A-listers are in the house, but we almost overlooked Loughborough. But let's not forget Loughborough on a run now recently. You know, they took Wasps out on a one-match game, a one-point game.
Of course, and I think linking that back into the university setup, it's so important that those links, those crossovers, you've got those people there because there's such a big connection. Loughborough, University of Loughborough have been Loughborough Uni, they've been prolific in the last few years, well, for years in BUCS finals across sports, and, you know, and again in the netball, and it's just going to show that teams like University of Hertfordshire now, University of Birmingham, recruiting really well and giving players opportunity into Super League sides is only increasing the level. Yeah,
and I think we're talking about Loughborough. I think the things that they've done with Mary Chalcott and Peace Proscovia, just to allow them to, you know, girls from continental Africa to come in and enhance their netball, but also then to pick up good educational things to take back when they've finished their playing careers. I just think it's the whole package, and it's so fantastic to see.
So we were talking about reigning champions Wasps in the Super League just then, but it's back to reigning champions here, University of Hertfordshire. They have the 5-goal advantage. We're back on court, having a look down now at the changes. So Ellie Ratu has moved to the bench, has moved into the middle here for the University of Birmingham, and it's Katie Bowen that's come on into the wing defence position. Looking across at the University of Hertfordshire, Betha Crudale's moved back to wing defence, which means Leah Goss has gone to the bench. Georgia Lee's back into the middle, and no surprises to see Beth Dix on here at wing attack. She'll be looking to get that connection back with George Fisher. We did see several long bombs in that first quarter from her. I'm guessing Mansfield's going to ask her to work that short ball. I did see her sitting next to the coach during that quarter getting information. She is a captain and leader for this group, so she'll want to go back out there and really stamp her authority in this quarter. Yeah,
absolutely. It looks as if actually Ellie Ratu's been slotted into centre there.
Yeah, Hannah Layton's gone to that
absolutely.
bench.
So it's just, I wonder what combination that will kind of bring up. Let's see how it pans out.
And we're underway. Hertfordshire on the ball, looking to extend their lead on this first centre pass. George Fisher takes a sneaky catch between her knees. Great covering position from Fran Williams and Maddie Ron Hall, and there's Katie Bowen having an impact. but call for the offside.
Good vision by the umpire there, Kate Mann, just the toe in the circle.
Great recovery from Fran Williams.
And a great advantage. I mean, I don't want to take it away from the player. That was a great pass, but the umpire could easily have penalised that outside the circle. And that's what I was talking to you about at the beginning of this programme, that an umpire has a potential to disrupt a play, not consciously, but it is those great advantages that mean the ball comes from either the transverse line to the goalpost or from the circle edge.
Definitely, it's frustrating as a player as well. But the thing is, as a player, you want the advantage, but then when you don't get it away, you don't want the advantage.
Hey,
so it's always a difficult one.
No one will beat themselves up more than the umpire themselves, but absolutely frustrating for everybody.
So Birmingham responding there with a goal, and it's down the other end. Chloe Essam hasn't done a lot of the shooting though, but such a lovely shooter, happy to shoot from anywhere in the BUCS senior setup. But George Fisher is so strong under that post, and what I like from Fisher tonight is she's really had to adapt her game. She's had to come out the circle, she's had the holds under the post, she's had the step onto the balls, and this competition for her is really important because she gets to try out all those things, which only helps her as she plays in the Super League.
Yeah, I guess it does give everyone a shot to try different positions, you know. Again, a lovely little advantage there from Kate Mann.
Oh, and trying to lift there from Fran Williams and Maddie Munron-Hall, not pulled off, but Beth Dix's vision into Fisher, that's why she's back on the court, just a little bit closer than we've seen her from that first quarter.
Yeah, again, as I said earlier, nothing in the rules to say that you can't lift an opponent as long as you don't do it within the obstruction distance and you don't contact as well.
Kat Short turning around there to Louise Marsden, just sort of shaking her hand, asking her not to throw those long bombs in. It's almost identical to some of the errors we saw in that first quarter. Birmingham's so much better when they work that ball to the edge and get that ball into Kat Short. We've seen a lot in the Super League this year, that this magic third quarter when teams really take it away, when the coaches have time to give some tactical information, make some changes. Birmingham doing well to come out with that missed shot from Hertfordshire. We've not seen many of those this evening.
Yeah, I guess they call it the championship quarter for those reasons, don't they?
They do indeed. And of course, Super League Grand Final, hopefully you'll see the likes of Sam May. Not that I'm being biased at all. And I'm sure if there's Maverick supporters watching, they'll want to see George Fisher in there. But you're likely to see some of these players, whoever ends up in the Grand Final, on the 18th of May.
Yeah,
It's going to be a huge game. I know tickets are still available. Down the copper box, just taking a little break. Kat Short is on the floor. She looks in a little bit of pain. Physio is on the court.
Yeah, so the umpire's just held time there. All stoppages are 30 seconds unless there's an emergency, and Julie Wilkes is just asking the player to come off. Looks like she's banged her mouth.
Yeah, it's more a chin. I was worried for a second it was her ankle, but she's actually down. I think she's holding her mouth or her nose. Coming off to the side there. So Lucy Lister has come into a wing attack. It looks like Ash Decker's going into goal shooter, keeping Louise Marsden at goal attack. So forced into a change here, Birmingham. That's a big loss for them. Kat Short's just getting treatment off the bat there, so we'll keep you posted on her. It's a turnover. Birmingham back in control. Another opportunity. So Ash Decker does play in goal attack as well. But Ellie Ratu, loose pass to Louise Marsden straight off the sideline, and Hertfordshire will get another opportunity. Lovely front cut and roll from Chloe Essam. And it's so hard, both defenders have dropped back onto George Fisher. She was the real threat, and Essam just went straight in there and said thank you very much.
Just all seems a little bit too easy for Hearts to get this ball in here, doesn't it? And you'd be looking to Birmingham to try and switch something up there.
Yeah, I think just the patience now, bringing Beth Dix back into the game was a good move from Mansfield. She does have great vision into Fisher, and she's just working that ball up to the edge. And Chloe Essam as well, doing a lot more draws and drives around that circle, getting involved in the game a little bit more, just relieving some of the pressure off George Fisher.
Just a contact call there on Sam May, just pulled her arm down, stopped the feed coming in.
To jump on Marsden. She's going to get the shot again. Penalty pass or shot, she steps it in. And nails it that time. Hearts very much in control of this quarter. They've got a 7-goal lead, and there's the pressure that you need to see from Birmingham to try and steal a ball, try and get themselves back into this quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. The ball goes back. This is a key time when an umpire will think that 3 seconds might well be a possibility because there's no forward options. The ball's got to go back.
Smart play by Fisher, exiting there, the circle, offload into Essam, and I think that's been the difference in this quarter, just how much more they're bringing Essam into the game. A nice draw there from Ash Decker to open up Louise Marsden under the post. Really smart play. Look, it's completely different tactically now for the Birmingham side. They haven't got the tall shooter under the post. You can see she's getting treatment there on the bench. No signs that she's come back onto the court yet.
They absolutely had to try something different, did Birmingham. Their Hearts just seem to be running away with it.
Fisher's so strong on that take into the backspace. She's not going to miss from there. And here's the changes again. So Catshaw is going to come back into the game. Back into shooter, Ash Decker back out to wing attack. The Hearts have pushed on. They've got an 8-goal lead now, 32-24.
That's more like it, Birmingham.
And that's the impact. Birmingham crowd really happy with that. Ash Decker just applauding them as well. Oh, Maddie Munro Hall saw that. There was a take by Georgia Lees and straight under the post by Fisher. But important that they do come out hunting and do start to have a crack at the ball. They need some turnover.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the chances are over the last couple of centre passes, the ball's going to go in, so you've got to try and take it on the fly on the circle edge. If you get it, you turn it over. If you don't, you've not lost anything.
And lovely direct feed into Cat Short. Sam May perhaps felt she'd won that one cleanly, a drop from short. But I think it must have been the body beforehand. She stepped in, Tara Jones right in her face, and a help ball.
She's called out for 3. I mean, there's a lot to be said about Sam May's smile. It gets her out of a lot of scrapes. But it absolutely isn't a happy smile sometimes.
It's a love-hate with the umpires sometimes, Gary.
Hey, listen.
We love you really, but
no, absolutely.
Unless you're making calls against us. Fran Williams disappointed with that, but great strength from Georgia Lees on the edge to rein that in.
Yeah, she pulled it in, took possession, and that was the difference. Just a little knock there from the goalkeeper. But doesn't affect George Fisher. She slots it in, and we're on 34-25.
Yeah, and Hearts seem to be completely in control in this quarter. Even when they have been put under pressure, they've been confident letting the ball go and seemed a lot happier on the ball. And just as we say that, the commentators curse. Beth
You said it.
That straight off the bat line. I know how it works. I've been
Absolutely.
in that position many times.
Whoops.
Oh.
That was a good keep in there, but goodness me, she took out the hoardings there.
Ash Decker straight into the
Bounced
side
straight
line.
back up again. I know someone else that's quite good at going down and getting straight back up again, but enough said about that, I'm sure.
So tough wing attacks, they don't even flinch.
Yeah, just a bit of a pull on the arm there by Fran Williams. The umpire was quick and correct to pull that. And then an obstruction on goalkeeper.
So that's 10 up on the board for Hearts. They've got that 10-goal lead against Birmingham. And Birmingham having passages of play, just not for long enough, and just that experience of the Hertfordshire side. They've really nailed it in the attack end. Loving the unit of Lees, Beth Dix, Essam and Fisher.
Just Julie Wilkes tidying up some of the loose obstructions on that transverse line, trying to keep that purity back in the play. But unfortunately, it leads to a turnover.
almost comes with that desperation when you just want to try and get a tip. You end up going on everything and anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And the umpires know that. They're trained to know that. They don't think of it as being cynical. It's just part of the game. Are you playing netball or are you trying to infringe the rules? And we always go with the first option.
So Hert's on the attack again. Little drop ball from Fisher, and this time Williams is rewarded.
She was very quick to get that in there, as it wasn't giving that up for anybody.
Teammates at Wasp, but not here today. And Sam May, great vision to come through. Same move there from Marsden. Tara Jones roll in the front to make it look open. Sam May so quick with that acceleration to come through the back, and it just goes to show as a keeper, it's not always about your height, it's about your reaction, your vision, your plyometrics. You can make any position work for you. Marsden not happy with the shot, offloads it. Tara Jones not expecting the stop there from Marsden, smart play. And there's the offload to short. And there's so much pressure in there from Jones and May. Not letting short have anything easy. Double jump on that. Call it the cannon.
Again, I was just looking at Sam May there. She's just so good and so disciplined on her arms staying down. I think from the Commonwealth Games gold medal match, we've all seen what a little twitch in the last seconds can do, pull for obstruction, but she's so good at keeping her arms down and not giving away that obstruction.
Yeah, I think Courtney Bruce and the Australians will be living that moment for a long time. But it was brilliant for England.
Yeah, and it just catapults us to...
Monroe Hall read that so well, wasn't able to keep it in.
It just catapults us to a whole new audience, and you know, a lot of people that had never seen the sport might have memories of the sport as being a schoolgirl sport. We're just able to see the game profiled at the highest level of possibility.
And I even think for these guys as well, as a junior coming through the ranks for me, it was never an option of beating Australia and New Zealand. It was just an opportunity to play them. And I think we're breeding a whole generation now, Fran Williams and George Fisher, who aren't scared of playing the Aussies.
Absolutely.
There's going to be several players on this court that end up playing full-time Super League, and some that will make it into the England setup full-time as well. And actually, it's great to see that there's absolutely no fear.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't beat that champion swagger, can you? That you know that you're a champion, and you know that you're credible within the sport, and you know that you can contend against the biggest teams in the world. And every so often it's good to look in the sock drawer at your gold medal once in a while, isn't it, you know?
Well, I've only got bronzes to look at.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying anything.
Tara Jones not happy with that. Hearts were back on the attack. They'd done really well to earn that ball off Cat Short, but they've given Birmingham another opportunity. But just now you can see the split, the work Jones and Sam May are doing to keep Marsden and Cat Short apart. Crowd interaction there. A few oohs and a few ahs. Real smart play from Fran Williams. Jumped out, slid in behind Beth Dix, just confused the space to Georgia Lees. And actually defensively, both of these teams have turned over lots of great ball, done some really smart intercepts. It's more about the delivery and attack. And it's Mavericks who are, Mavericks, there you go. It's the purple, it's because I'm watching.
Absolutely, yeah.
Too many. It's the University of Hertfordshire that have been too strong in attack tonight, and just some slick moves from these guys.
Again, I think it is absolutely the defences are standing out for me here in this match, both ends. And you kind of just feel that Birmingham are letting it get away with themselves as they lose the ball off the goal line. They're not converting everything they get into the circle, so their defence is working their bottoms off at the other end, but they're just not converting.
Yeah. Agreed, another wasted opportunity. Great drive down the court, but just that final touch in. And it just goes to show the level of the shooters at each end. Cat Short in the Wasps under-21, medical student at Birmingham. But George Fisher in this full-time programme, look at her back out the circle there, getting her attack underway. And just the difference in how she takes the ball.
Yeah.
So strong. Look at that take, under all kinds of pressure from Monroe Hall, but
a sly little smile between the two teammates there.
thing. A lot of these players are good friends off the court, playing in Super League sides or have played in England age group together, so know each other very well.
I mean, do you think that, how does that pan out with, being in a previous team? I mean, we're looking at George Fisher being in Wasps and now then playing for Mavericks. Do you get an insider's view of how teams play, or do you know how your opposition would play because you've been in this setup?
I think you end up knowing what players like and dislike, and it's really interesting because off the court you're great mates, but during Super League time, you know, everything's about your team, and you all love your team regardless if you switch teams or what happens. So yeah, you end up learning a lot about players, and it helps. And you can see here, Fran Williams and George Fisher off the court are besties, but here today it's very much about them winning and having a crack at each other as well. It ends up just being a respect thing.
So just a last-minute caution there from Kate Mann to Fran Williams.
We're going to run this clock down. George Fisher, final seconds on the board, and it's back up to a 10-goal lead. There's the buzzer, end of the third quarter, and it really was the magic quarter for Hertfordshire. They pulled away, got a 10-goal lead, 38-28, and it was all to do with the slick moves and attack, bringing Beth Dixon. That link with George Fisher under the post, so I think has just got better and better throughout this game. She had to put up with a lot of pressure from Munro Hall, but she's worked through that, and she's certainly shown why she's in that England full-time programme. So Gary, Super League. We know the grand final,
yeah.
18th of May. You're not going to tell me who's going to be in it, but we know there's going to be some quality sides. We know we're going to have some young talent on display and some great imports in whichever two teams make it. Expecting a big crowd, the Copper Box?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had the privilege of umpiring Super League finals and most recently Australia versus New Zealand and South Africa versus New Zealand in that stadium. It's fantastic. It absolutely
is. It's kind of become the home of netball over here, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, it was once upon a time Wembley, but I think we're firmly into the Copper Box now, being the home of netball. But it is a great venue. But the fact remains that we can only do this if people turn up and buy tickets to come. And I know for some that London is a far away, but you know, we were talking to somebody the other day about Liverpool and the World Cup being quite far away. It's only 2 hours on a train. So, you know, make a day of it, come out with groups of friends. As I noticed a couple of times in my history, there's been a few hen-dos in there, which is a great thing to see. But absolutely, get those people through the door, come and have a great day out. There's a third, fourth playoff this year,
yes.
Which is great, which means you get two netball matches.
2 games for the prize of one.
Absolutely, yeah, and it'll be good.
It was a sellout last year.
Yeah.
And we know the Copper Box does really well in terms of location. I would highly recommend it. It's like a cup final day there. Everyone shops in Westfield, has a bit of lunch, and then comes over. It's usually a sunny day as well.
Yeah.
It is going to be a great spectacle. The league has been closer than ever, and I think one of the big turning points for me at the game at the moment, and why we're getting more interest in spectators, is all the players that seem to be playing, whether it's club level, school level, university level, they're now getting involved in the elite side of the game. I used to think it was always quite separate, but we're actually getting a really big following, and it is becoming sort of an event out. It's a team trip out, it's going with your best mates, it's dads and daughters coming along, it's taking the kids. It's becoming a real event for people because it's such a good showcase.
Yeah, listen, I'm not just about to go into a really bad mother-in-law joke, because my mother-in-law is absolutely fantastic, but for the last international series, my mother-in-law, father-in-law came with my wife and my daughters. And her impression, even my father-in-law is a former county rugby captain, their impression of netball before they walked through the door, they didn't really know what I did, and it was just so nice after the match had finished that my mother-in-law had said to me, "Oh, we understand what you do now." And I kind of think that was the mother-in-law's stamp of approval. Absolutely. But again, you know, my father-in-law is a hulking rugby player, but he just said it's absolutely fantastic, physical. You know, I didn't expect it to be anything like this. And I think one thing that people always say when they turn up is, "Oh, I just thought it was like what it was when I saw it last at school." And once they've come, they just can't believe it, and they keep coming back.
Yeah, of course. And I think if you haven't been along to a game, or you're thinking about making a Super League game, I would highly recommend getting down to the grand final at the Copper Box on the 18th of May. There's still tickets available from the England Netball website. It will be a real showcase. We've been in for such a treat. And turning our attention back here to Nottingham, the teams are coming out for the final quarter. Hertfordshire are already in their huddle. They've already got their arms in. big shout out as they come in for this final quarter with a 10-goal lead. Birmingham still taking their time, having a look as they come back out onto court. We'll just check out any final changes. Birmingham look to remain the same, and so do Hertfordshire. So both teams needing to push on in this fourth quarter. I think Mel Mansfield is stamping down her authority. She wants to see her team finish this game off now. Birmingham, their last shot, and they're going to have to want to get back in this game really early. But we've seen the last few weeks in the Super League that no lead at the moment seems to be a big enough lead.
Absolutely, the 10 goals is nothing nowadays. I think one of the teams came back from a 20-goal deficit at one point and turned the match. So the game is not done, and as I said, it's like a game of chess. Anyone's going to pull a queen out somewhere or a king, and we're going to be in serious trouble here.
But we're going to need to see Birmingham put that ball through the ring. Cat Short just looking up to the sky there, frustrated at herself. There's a held ball down the other end, a big cheer and clap from Munro Hall. Great defensive pressure, and it goes back to what we were saying. Some of the defensive play we've seen from both teams this evening has been really impressive, working together as a unit.
They just absolutely have to turn over these opportunities and convert them, don't they?
Yeah, and it is difficult because you can't keep winning ball off teams, and it is the reward down the other end. We see Marsden with that drive into the circle, nails the shot. Big shouts out from Sam May, trying to put some pressure on that. And there's the 3 over from Birmingham. Force Hearts into the error.
Here's another opportunity for them to take another goal back off that deficit.
And it's just stuff like that. They've done all the hard work, they got the ball, but fair play to Hertfordshire. They were straight back on the defence, put Katie Bowen under all kinds of pressure. With the penalty, offloads to Fisher. There's a little flick of the foot, gets her right under the post and restores that 10-goal lead. So Birmingham frustrated. They got into Hertfordshire quite early on there, took the first steal of this final quarter but couldn't convert.
When you're coming into the last quarter of a match and you've got a 10-goal lead like this, is there a temptation to try and just play keep ball, or do you go out and try and kill the game and go 20 goals in front? What's the feeling about that?
I am very much in the opinion as you attack the game. You attack it, you attack it, you attack it, and you don't just beat teams, you put them to bed. Or footwork call there from Georgia Lee's, just a late takeoff. And I think there is a tendency that teams either come out more relaxed and they do a couple of sloppy errors, or there's a tendency to stop attacking the game, especially when another team have got nothing to lose because they come at you hard. And I think we've seen that most recently in the Super League. And you're going to hope that Hertfordshire don't do that this evening, and they do look in control because they look like they're going to turn over ball. But yeah, even at this point here, we've seen them come through the court so quickly. You want them to continue to do that, actually get the ball down the court and stop messing around with it in this middle third.
I recall, and there we go, another footwork error there. But I recall from my own experience, one of the first Super League finals I umpired, I forget which team it was, but they decided to play for time with the last 2 minutes to go and actually ended up losing because it just disrupted their play, and the opposition just saw their opportunity and stole it.
Yeah, and I think there's a real fine line, but it's amazing for me, netball, how the mental side of it comes into it so much, because it only takes one player to sort of lose that confidence and it can change everything. So you saw that great feed in there from Beth Dix in the second quarter. Birmingham really got into the minds of the Hertfordshire attack in terms of letting ball go, and likewise Hertfordshire defence have done the same this evening with the ball into Cat Short, and it can just change everything. The minute a player doesn't want to let it go, it just alters the timing and allows defence to come through and have a crack at the ball. Tara Jones with Louise Marsden with an air ball there. Unlike her, she shot really well this evening. And that's the play from Hertfordshire. Just see how quickly they brought that ball out the court. makes such a difference.
Julie Wilkes just deeming that was just a contact call there. She came very close to the line there. Kate Mann right under the nose of her, just having a look at that too. So it's out to 11 now. Just kind of have a feeling that this is getting a bit beyond Birmingham.
Yeah, it looks like it will continue to blow. I think Birmingham will turn over ball, but it has been their attack end this evening that they just haven't always been able to convert and reward the defence for the hard work. And Tara Jones on the loose ball, and there's been quite a few intercepts at the start of this quarter by both sides. And we just haven't seen enough of that from Birmingham. You know, when it's been on to short and they've got it to the edge, it's been an easy feed in. But Sam May has done such a good job of moving Short's position and making sure it doesn't always look open. Birmingham haven't had it all their own way.
That's a lovely advantage from the umpire there. It didn't go out as planned in the end. The ball pops off and a contact call from Fran Williams. But again, prime example there of umpires playing advantage on the circle edge that makes the game.
From Sam May in front position, just turned her body, not enough height on the ball. Again, Birmingham feeding it from off the edge. It's just a difference in the take. You can put the ball so far out for a George Fisher because she's got the footwork and the movement to take it and the core to hold it in. You see there the height and the strength for her to take that ball. And unfortunately down the other end for Birmingham, they just haven't had that outlet.
So there's another caution there from Julie Wilkes. And it looked as if that was for persistent contact there from the goalkeeper. Again, just might be getting a little bit tired and her timing was a little bit off.
Yeah, nice short ball from Hertfordshire. Off this time by Chloe Essam. I think you're starting to see just a few tired legs out there now. And it's just when the tired legs comes in, the lack of concentration comes in as well. Loose pass from Louise Marsden, lack of communication between her and Katie Bowen. Hertfordshire back in control. Georgia Lee is nice and smart there, actually using the umpire to her advantage, holding onto the ball and getting the umpire to make a decision. Gets an easy feed then into Fisher.
Whoops.
Decker down but back on her feet.
Just a contact as Georgia Lee's just came through there. And just pops over the top and the slot.
So 7 minutes remain in this quarter. But Birmingham not giving up the fight. And just anything loose by Hertfordshire there.
It's
trying
just
to win,
being snuck up, isn't it? And there's just a footwork call there from Fran Williams. Unfortunate for her, just couldn't keep her feet down. But again, they keep turning over ball, Birmingham, but there's just no conversion at the other end.
It just goes to show the challenge and how important this final is to both teams today, that they're not giving up. You know, it's quite easy for Birmingham at this point to sort of sit back, but they keep pushing on. They're still trying to win ball for their team. And I was speaking to Mel Mansfield before the game, and she sort of said, you know, they're in the middle of a Super League season. You've got players with minds on World Cup selection and winning grand finals and stuff. But for a lot of these players, this is the highlight of their season.
Yeah, absolutely.
BUCS is such an important part of your university experience and the start of your netball journey.
Yeah, and again, you know, I can't. I'm not talking from a playing experience, but I absolutely love my love my time as a BUCS hockey player, and you know, was in finals against Loughborough back in the day, and it's something that you always remember. Not necessarily the journey home, but certainly the court and the pitch side journey.
Louise Marsden there looking a little bit bemused. Tara Jones did a big jump right into Marsden, but she nailed the shot anyway. Likewise down the other end, an offside call. I think all Birmingham players are offside, way too early on the whistle. All recognised it. It's just that lack of discipline that gives Hertfordshire that opportunity to get it into the circle. Chloe Essam looking so comfortable in that goal attack position. Oh, and a lovely tip there by Crudale. She gets her team on the go. Just Georgia Lee's trying to come up and make things happen. She's noticing her attacker getting a bit static.
Just a change from for I
Chloe
did it, nearly did it too.
You can go ahead. Here you
No,
go. George Fisher out to goal attack.
Yeah, no, I nearly made the mistake of calling the Mavericks again, but as I say, just to inject some difference into that circle.
So yeah, Brittany Clark coming into goal shooter position. George Fisher out to goal attack. And it's Georgia Satwick that's come into wing attack. So
just a
giving those players an
replayed
opportunity to see the game
incorrect
out.
setting ball there. That's unfortunate for Sam May on a jump shot there. She just thought she had left outside of the distance, but she was just too close for Kate Mann there.
And just looking down at the changes now, some more representation. So Brittany Clark, who's gone into goal shooter, she's playing in the Storm under-21 squad, and Satwick there that's come into wing attack, she's involved in the London Pulse under-21s. So if Mel Mansfield didn't have a headache with 3 teams, she's got 4 teams she has to look after as well.
She's doing a very good job.
And there's Lucy Lister coming back on for the Birmingham side, back into the middle. Oh, lovely quick centre pass from Birmingham straight through the middle. Decker taking that drive on the second phase. You see at the moment the game's really started to open up now. Georgia Lee is down there in 2 passes as well.
Just smiles exchanged from Fran Williams and Julie Wilkes there. I think Fran thought she might well have got away with that little nudge, but Julie Wilkes was on it.
Oh, and Williams and Monroe Hall are going to have to adapt to that circle now. 2 big shooters in there. Britt Clark and George Fisher, both really tall, really strong on the ball. Great drive out from Marsden. Finally gets that ball into short, but there's the control we're talking about. You want it to be able to land that and have a shot for them. That's a better take. Split landing as well, so close to the post. Sam May on the rebound. And Hertfordshire back in attack. Just under 3 minutes left on the clock.
Just Fran Williams letting Georgia Lees know she's still there.
Monroe Hall thought she got that one clean off Clark, but it was the arm movement beforehand. Deemed to have blocked her off.
Looks as though there's another change here.
Here we go, Helen Carter-Roberts entering onto the court as well as goal shooter. She's a third-year student. She was captain of the under-18s indoor nets team as well, so plenty of experience for her. Here's Britt Clark. First goal of the game for her. Big cheers all round. And that's going to cement it with just under 2 minutes to go. Hearts have got it up to the 50. Deemed to be taken. Carter-Roberts under the post. Eases herself in as well.
It's unlucky for Fran there. And the umpire gives her a warning there from what I can only think is persistent contact.
I think Fran Williams has tirelessly tried to get her team back into this game, and she has gone through on things.
Absolutely, and
not
you
always got it right, but some of her intercepts have been quality as well.
Absolutely, and you absolutely can't criticise a player for putting everything on the line, because sometimes it might not go that way, and you never know.
Well, Sam May coming out with that beautiful intercept there, gets her team down the way, but Britt Clark unable to hold on to it, and we're under a minute to go until we see the 2019 champions. Birmingham on the attack, but I'm sure Hertfordshire are going to want to give themselves one last opportunity. Birmingham being really patient on the ball, and a good cut from Marsden.
Just a roll around to take us to the last 20.
Nice footwork from Satwick, flat ball into Britt Clark. Great offload. This to finish off the game. But Fran Williams wanted the last say. Gets it back, and a big score for Brittany Clark. And there the whistle's going to go. 2019 champions, back-to-back champions, the University of Hertfordshire with a 52-38 victory over Birmingham. Pretty comfortable in the end, Gary, but a great contest.
Absolutely. I mean, all credit to Birmingham for never giving up in there, but Hertfordshire, you just get that feeling from the off that they were going to go through, and to get the double, following up from the win from last year, is absolute testament to the setup that they've got there, the commitment from the athletes themselves.
Yeah.
Just fantastic afternoon of netball.
And you have to look at the pathway of both these teams. Back in 2014, when they were both promoted into the Prem, they actually played each other in the trophy final. Hertfordshire came on top with there, but their progression over those 5 years to get back into a grand final position, to recruit a lot of these players, to have two quality coaches there as well, and to put out a display like that is pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any standout players for you this evening?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think just the discipline of Sam May always stands out for me. I just think that she takes so much clean ball when a lesser defender might take more contact, but I thought she stood out very well for me. Just coming through the court for Birmingham, Ellie Ratu in two different positions was a standout player. But you can't really miss Fran Williams, never gives up, keeps on going till the end, even though that they've lost, she keeps on coming back and keep on making fantastic interceptions.
Yeah, and I think all those players you mentioned there are showing why they're excelling outside of this university system as well. Fran Williams and George Fisher, another exceptional game for her tonight, showing why they're in that England full-time programme, and Hart showing how much this means to them as well. George Fisher jumped up and gave big hugs to all our teammates there. It's really important, these games, and you're going to see them all now come through to have their photo together, because, as we said, such good friends off the court, and many of them sharing the same dress at different teams. Yeah,
absolutely. And again, we always talk about netball family, don't we? It is a sisterhood that you guys have got, and friendships made and cemented at this level.
Definitely. Well, congratulations to the University of Hertfordshire. They are the 2019 BUCS netball champions. They have won the final 52-38. Thank you for joining me this evening,
it's a
Gary.
pleasure, absolute pleasure, Tamsin. I really enjoyed it.
And I still can't get you to call the Super League.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, we're going to hand you down now, and we're going to see the presentations of the team.